It is very important for us, data management, and it's because if you want to study child development, you need information from many sources because child development is a very complex process. It's affected by biological factors, by environmental factors, and you need to have information on all these factors. So that means that in this program we get a lot of data and a lot of different types of data. And also there are many children included, and these children come back. So there are many moments in which we gather a lot of data. So we really need to have a plan to store this data and to make it accessible to our researchers. Also very important, and that's because it's such a big investment. It's longitudinal research, so we get a lot of data, but that means also that many researchers are able to use the data to answer their research questions. So that means that a lot of different people, not only from Utrecht University, but also from outside university, need to have access to the data, and that these data need to be accessible in a very structured and clear way. Well, in order to be able to use and reuse data, we need to start with two things. And first thing is to get agreement from the participants, so a consent. You need to have informed consent. And the second part is that you have to make an agreement with the researchers on how to use the data, on which data they get. So that's the start. Well, first there's the aspect of the data as such, how they are stored safely. Well, we store our data in Yoda. This is a system which is developed by ETS here at Utrecht University, and it makes sure that the data are protected from illegal access, but also that they are stored in a vault, the raw data, and cannot be tampered with. So that's a very important aspect. Also the fact that we have copies of the data on several places in Europe, so that there's always a copy in case on one of the locations something goes wrong. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is safety for the participants. We want to be sure that the data of the participants is not accessible by others, but most importantly that we cannot relate the personal information of a participant to the data, the experimental data. So these two types of data are stored in different places, and there are only a few people who have access to both types of data, and these are not the researchers. So that's a very important aspect. Oh, very important, and that's because, of course, we want to have our data open access in the end, so that people can easily use our data. We do not want to keep it for ourselves, but share it if possible. Secondly, it's also important for us to be able to merge data sets. And if you want to merge data sets, you really need a very clear structure of your data. And well, in order to get such a structure, you need good descriptive metadata and disciplinary standards, so that it's logical to combine specific aspects of data sets. Well, we have a data management plan, and also we have a code of conduct, and all our researchers and everybody who's in contact with the data has to adhere to that code of conduct. Yes, we do train. We do train every person who works at the research center in how important it is to gather data in a very systematic way. If they gather data, of course, our research assistants, our PhD students, but also how important it is to be very careful with the data that are here sampled in the research center.